Hey guys, welcome back to Easel Does It Studio Paintings. Today we are doing an acrylic painting. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do, but we're going to put something on this canvas. So I've just picked out a bunch of colors. I've got lamp black, burnt umber, sap green, deep green, quinacridone magenta, primary yellow, white, and cobalt blue. So that is what we have got for a start. If I need more, I will get them and I will let you know what I add for colors. So let me just move my colors back here. So I'm trying to keep a variety, do a few oils, a few acrylic. So I'm just wetting my brush and we're just getting some water on this canvas. And this is just going to help our paints, especially the sky area. So I'm just going to start up here. And then I'm just going to pick up some magenta. And we're going to start getting some of this magenta up in the sky. And I'm just picking up the cobalt blue now. And we're just going to kind of mix that in. And it's going to give like a kind of a lavender. And we will have to add another coat over this. So when I put my quinacridone magenta on, a whole bunch came out. So that's why I've got a ton of this magenta. All right, now I'm just going to pick up some white. And this might make it so we don't need another coat, but we will see. And I haven't washed my brush yet, because I do want this to be, just a real light kind of sky. Yeah, so sometimes just adding, that little bit of white in your paint makes it opaque enough where you don't have to do a second layer. And I'm just gonna all right, I'm liking that. Let's try to turn it here so you guys can see. All right, let me just clean this brush off here. And this is just like a 2-inch brush, maybe 1.5 inches. All right. So, and now I'm going to take a filbert brush. Actually, I'm going to add, I'm just going to take another brush. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of yellow, because I want to bring this down just a little bit more. And we'll just go back, we'll pick up some white, because again, I want this to be very soft. And maybe we will pull a little bit of the pink into this yellow. just so that it has like a little bit of variation. So I just wet my brush just a little bit. And the trees are going to be on the sides. So that's why I needed to bring this down a little bit more. I'm going to do the pink and the purple. And let's get some of this. And I'll just pick up some white. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of the blue. Just so we can kind of tie in all the colors. But we do have like a little bit of that lightness kind of showing through. So maybe I will just pick up just a little. Just a little more of that yellow. And I'll pick up some white. All right. I guess we're going to leave it and we're just going to kind of go with it. All right. So now I am going to take a little bit of the green and black, and we're going to make a dark green. And I'm just using a number 12 filbert brush. So I want to make, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of get my little tops of my trees in. And I'm just making like little taps. And as the paint's, wearing off on my brush here, they're getting a little bit lighter. As we come across this little center part. All right. And then, so I'm going to, I'm just kind of sketching kind of like where I want my trees to end. So I'm just gonna make like a so then this is what I'm gonna fill in with this darker color. And actually, let me use, we're gonna use a bigger brush. Just wet that a little bit. Take some black and some green. So I just want that to be dark. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of yellow. And maybe a little bit more yellow. I'm going to add a little bit of white into that. All right, now we'll just take some yellow and we'll mix it in and make like another whoa. Did you see that? I almost caught it, guys. Almost. As I stick my hand and my bracelet in the paint. Hang on. You know, there's always a disaster with me. All right, now I got to use a paintbrush to clean out my bracelet. My gosh. All right. My word. There we go. All better. Let's pull this back. And I'm going to take a little liner brush. And we're going to take some black and some white. And we're going to make like a gray. And we need that to be a little bit brighter. And I'm going to actually even throw in some brown in there. So it'll kind of be a browny gray. Add a little water and thin that down just a bit. I'm just putting, these will be kind of like background, but I want them going all in different directions, different heights. All right. And then we're gonna have just a few kind of bigger ones. So I'm just taking more of the plain brown. Just so we have a difference in color. We'll have some light ones, some dark ones. All right. And now we're going to take some yellow and just the green and a little bit of white. And take some more of the green, some more of that yellow, a smidge of white. And then we'll probably have some bushes or something here on the bottom. I'm just trying to get in some sort of darker base. And let's just get All right, so you can see, I just want it to show that there is, you know, something back there. And then, you know, we'll highlight some of these trees once we, once we get our ground in and we know yeah, so it's gonna stand out. So it's almost like gonna be a cove of trees. All right, so let's just I'll have a few higher ones on this side just to make it different. All right, let me wash this, go back to the bigger brush. And this we just want to fill in. So it gives us, now if this was a black canvas, we wouldn't have to do this. But you need to get that dark in order for, you know, some of these lighter areas in the trees to stand out. And I'm just gonna pull some of this brown while that green is still wet, just to kind of get a little bit of a cove here. All right. And this is probably going to be some water. Wash that. And I got to get more yellow. And I'm going to use the deep green. And I'm also going to put some of, let's try this light permanent green. So we can add a little bit of variation here in our greens. So I'm gonna take, actually I'm gonna get a bigger, a little bit bigger liner brush to do our trees. All right, so I'm gonna take that same grayish brownish color that we started with over there, and I'll get one tree here. All right, so that gives us kind of like that base. And I'm going to actually add a few lighter ones into. And I'm basically just kind of playing, guys. I don't really have like anything in mind. I just felt like putting some color on. So now we're going to pick up just the green and a smidge of the yellow to give a kind of like a mid-tone. And we're going to take some more yellow and some of that other green. All right, and that's just gonna kind of give it like, just a different hue. All right, and that's just the light green permanent with some yellow. You know, and these will dry a little bit darker, so. See how that one's a little bit darker than this side? All right, I'm just gonna. All right. All right. Because I'm going to end up putting some bushes or something at the bottom, but let's go ahead and let's get some cobalt blue. And so I'm just going to take a wet brush. And still got a little bit of that green, just not that bad of a color anyways. And let's get some blue here. And then once, you know, we add some white to that, then we will start getting like a kind of watercolor here. And I'm trying to get somewhat close to the trees because I can always put more more land over it. I'm just trying to get this so we have some variation in here. And I might grab a little bit darker blue. Yeah, I'm gonna add some dark into this. All right, let me just grab little phthalo blue to it. Come on. All right, I guess we are getting down to the end of the phthalo blue. All right, I'm just gonna wipe my brush just to get some of that and then we'll probably put a few other type of trees over top of those. I don't know how far I'm gonna go with the water, but at least if I can get it in. And I'm gonna mix the two, the light and the dark. A little bit of water, just to get that spread. All right. So I'm going to take kind of an angled brush, and we're going to take some of the dark brown and the white, and we are going to just start pulling in some different ground areas here. And I'm going to just put a little bit of black . I think it's going to look I need that dark for sure. So I'm just gonna and that way we know, you know, kind of like where our, because then I can put the trees back down. Yeah, I needed that contrast. You know, because that way I can bring some further. Just softening that back line there. But see, just adding the darkness, how much it kind of made it pop back out. So I don't want there to be like a stark line. I want it to look like some are further back. All right. I'm not really liking it, but we'll just keep going. All right, so now what to do, So we're gonna probably put, I think I am going to change. I think I'm going to change this. So I'm going to go in with just the regular green, and no. Gonna let that dry for a minute. right, so I'm just gonna go in with just the dark green, and we're gonna that's why I hate acrylics. I cannot get my blends right. Let me try this for a minute and see. I'm gonna take some blue and some yellow. And we are going to make a different green. All right, so those are, yeah. And I'm gonna start with a touch of blue and More blue and some more yellow. Um, hmm. All right, let's just keep on going on. right. Let's get some rocks in. So I'm going to use black and brown and a little bit of white. Let me just set these down. All right, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna use black and brown. don't like it. I had a look in my head, and this is not what it's. But I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. So I think right here. No, because I don't like that tree. So, all right. We're just going to totally pivot here. So we're pivoting. All right, so let's all right. And I'm gonna take some brown, yellow. We're just gonna make up a gross color. There we go. All right, I'm starting to like that a little better. And I need just a smidge. All right. Gonna take and lighten that gray up even more. Just like that. There. And I am going to we're going to make it so it's like so it's gonna be kind of like a barn-ish. So I'm just using this rake brush. Yeah, that looks... All right. How in the world did I get green all over the end of this brush and all over me? All right, so we're gonna take some brown and some black, and I'm going to make a stump. square brush. Let's see. All right. So. My other brush. Okay, guys, so I'm back. My phone died, and I didn't realize that it had died. So I think I ended up highlighting they were going to be logs, but they ended up turning into barrels because they look more like a barrel than they do a log. I added some white into the water. I don't remember if these were in there or not. So I apologize. Once I realized that, I stopped. I went up, charged my phone, and we will just kind of continue. So that being said, I've had a little bit of time to figure out, like, okay, what do I need to add? I was going to add a chimney to this, but it's more of a barn, I think, than like a house. So I'm not going to put a chimney. I will put a few birds in the sky, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a log going across the bottom here, because it's just, I don't know, it's kind of flat. So I definitely need to add something here. I thought about maybe adding like a big tree, but yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm just going to put some more of the burnt umber. I've still got some white. I've still got some yellow. All right, so now, I'm liking it better now that I added the little building, the barrels, the trees. It's kind of, it's kind of coming together. I do have to do something with this, so let me do that first. I'm just going to take some brown, and we're just going to all right, we're just going to kind of and maybe just a smidgen of a little bit of that brown in with the brown. All right, I think I like that a little more. Yeah, all right, I'm liking that a little bit better. And I'm gonna take just a little bit of the white and the blue, and we're just going to add, yeah, that makes like the difference. Just kind of giving just a little bit of something around that area. All right. And that's the whole thing, is like when I start painting and I don't know like what I want to paint, a lot of times I'll go in one direction, I'll change my mind, I'll go back into another direction. But it's all just part of, you know, that painting process. All right, I'm just going to take some of the brown and some of the white, and I'm just going to make a smidgen lighter, on this little tree here. All right, so that, it just kind of makes it show up a little bit more. Okay, so let me take, we're going to take some black and some brown. More brown than black, but to darken it. All right, so let's see. I do want, like a limb there. And we're going to put maybe a limb there. All right. And now we're just going to get this, and let's see, we're gonna, all right, so we're gonna just kind of color this in. All right, we're just gonna wet this brush just so we can get whatever's left in this brush to kind of flow off. All right. So I'm just getting different limbs in here. All right. Let's see. got some shape. To our broken tree branch. All right, so we're gonna grab some white, and I'm just going to we're just gonna kind of get a little bit of just some sort of like texture going on here. And I'm trying to be really, really loose with getting those different just the different kind of variations in this. Let me wash this, and I'm gonna take some blue and some black, and we're just gonna kind of shadow, give it a little bit more darkness down in this area. You know, because the log being there, we would definitely have a little bit more darkness down in this bottom kind of area. And I'm just gonna kind of go right over kind of everything here. And I think I am like squeezing the last of this phthalo blue out of this tube. All right, that is just about all that I'm gonna get. So let's just, definitely going to get a little bit more darkness down in this front area. And then I can just kind of go over some of these branches once I can get some of this darkness, because it definitely is going to be darker underneath this log. And then I can just put a few little like water lines in around you know, like around the base of this log. All right. So let me just take a smidgen of white and I'm going to thin it down with some water. And I'm just going to wipe that down just a smidge. All right, now I'm going to just take some brown and we're just going to kind of I'm just going to run a little bit of that darker brown I'm just trying to give like a little bit of texture right now. So basically, I'm just trying to blend the lights, the darks. All right, so let me take a little bit of the yellow and a little bit of the white, and we're just gonna kind of kiss a little bit of highlights here and there, not everywhere. And I'm just going to add just a smidgen of dark in through there. All right, I think that is looking good. So I'm going to take a little bit of the white and find a clean spot here on my my palette, and we're just going to put just going to put a little I'm just going to soften that just a little. And all right, and I think all right, so This is just very, very loose, watered down white. All right, so let's do a little bit of yellow and a little bit of the pink. And let's see, we're just gonna just trying to give a little bit of like the glow, like from up above, that's maybe hitting some of these areas. All right, and I'm just going to take those same colors and we're just going to pop a little bit in there, and okay. Now let's get a few birds in the sky, and I think we're going to call this one done. Some a little smaller, some a little bigger, and let's see, just darken this up just a smidgen. Just pulling a little bit of darkness underneath there. And I'm just gonna all right, I think think we're going to call this one done. Totally different, not what I was expecting, but we're going to take it. All right, so I'm going to take some of the pink, some of the white, and we're going to sign it right here. Alrighty. So that concludes this painting. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Something totally different. Like I said, I didn't know where I was going with it, but we got there in the end, so that's all that matters. Alrighty, we will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.